Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com. In this video I just want to show you how to use some of the basic functions that most DIYers would need on a multimeter like this. Everything from checking electrical current to checking even the capacity that's left, or the charge that's left on your batteries. So we're going to go through a couple of little things on these dials first. Most multimeters are all very similar. You can see I've got two here. They're actually made by the same company, just probably one's newer than the other or something. But you might even be familiar with the old style that have like an actual dial that goes back and forth as opposed to being digital like this one is. I would recommend, if you don't own one and you're thinking of getting one, I would get the digital style. And depending on what your budget is, you can pick up one just like what these are here for probably around 20 bucks. If you want to go even a little more sophisticated, instead of having to use all these different settings in all those different categories, they have some that are automatic. So once you set it into, let's say, AC voltage, you don't have to decide if you want the 200 or the 500 setting. You can just set it there and it all automatically adjusts to what you need for your situation. But that's up to you. They're probably twice the money. One like this will do you just fine, I mean, to doing the basic things you're going to have to do. So let's just look at some of the first things that you're maybe going to try to do. Like most people, when they think of this, they're thinking about checking if you got power in a receptacle. Now, I don't have a receptacle per se set up to test. I wish I did. I don't have one close enough here to really check. But basically all you're going to do, you're going to have a receptacle in the wall in a box over here or whatever. And maybe your lamp or whatever isn't working. You just want to see if you've got power there. Or maybe you've hit the breakers off down in the basement, but you're not 100% sure if it turned the plug off that you want to pull out and work on. It's always a good idea to take a multimeter and just check it. So we're dealing with AC current when we're dealing with the power in your house, right? 120 volt. So what we want to do is we want to take it to the AC volts section. Something I should just show you. You're going to have two prods like this, right? There's actually three places you can plug them in. The black one will always be in the common. It's marked common right there. It'll always be in the common position. And for 90% of anything you're going to do and everything I'm going to show you here today, you want your other one over here marked to be used for DC and AC voltage, batteries, those sorts of things. It's hard to see, but right here on this one, there's a little box here that kind of shows you all the different categories that it tests for. This one over here is a unfused DC 10 amp circuit, and it's very unlikely you're going to be checking anything with that. So make sure you got your prods in the right spot to start with. So we've got them. Now this one's kind of different than what I just showed you, but over here is the common for the black instead of being in the middle, but they're plugged into the same circuits, they're just in a different position. Okay, so if you're checking a receptacle in the wall, you want to see if it's dead or has power. Change it to the AC voltage side. In my case, on my tester, you want to go with a slightly higher setting than what you think you're going to be testing. So if you're testing a normal receptacle in America in your house, it should be 120 volts. So I want to go to the 200 volt setting because that's higher. So if there's any extra voltage here, I'm not going to hurt the meter. So you'd walk over to the wall. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one of these prongs you put in which slot. All that would happen is if you've got them reversed, the polarity reversed, you'd get a negative reading instead of a positive reading. So that really doesn't matter in this case. So don't touch any of the metal part. Stick them fully into the receptacle, like so. And sometimes it might be necessary just to move them around a little bit, make sure they're getting contact inside there. Another thing you could do, if you're not 100% sure that you got a good enough contact to be sure, you could carefully undo the mounting screws on this, pull it out so it's just hanging off the wires, and actually test right on the device screws, or on the screws on the side that the wiring are hooked to. So you could get perfect contact on those two screws and check your meter. Now obviously we don't have this powered up to anything, so it's not going to read anything, unfortunately. But I will show you that a similar thing here on something we do have hooked up. We've got a light circuit hooked up here actually on a dimmer. So I'm just going to turn this on right there. Now I'm going to keep this, it still should be around 120 volts, so I'm going to keep this still on the 200 setting. I'm going to use my prods, and I'm going to touch on here. You can see down on the meter. Now I've actually, the reason I'm getting a low voltage reading is because this circuit is on a dimmer. So right now with the lights partially dimmed, I'm reading at about 50.5, let's say, volts. Now if I change the dimmer setting here, let's turn it up a bit, hopefully it's not too bright for the camera. What do we got now? Now I'm almost at full voltage. I'm at 116.5. Okay, so you can see this is a good way to see how that dimmer kind of, it actually regulates how much voltage is going to through the circuit. And same thing if I turn it way down, let's see. Come on, it's down there. So we're down like 35.5, right? So that gives you an idea, you know, how you can use that on a circuit in your home. Okay, so that's the AC setting. Now let's say we want to check how much voltage is in a battery that you have kicking around. You know, we always switch out batteries, and you might have a drawer full of these. You don't know which are the new ones, which are the old ones, because sometimes they get mixed up. So this is a regular 9-volt square battery that anybody would have in their house. On my DC settings here, I've got 2 and 20 are my choices for in that range. So 2 is too small, so I'm going to go up to the 20. And I'll maybe bring this more into one picture for you. Now, here we can see right on the battery, this is the plus terminal. So if you want, we can put the red probe on that side so we get a plus reading. So you can see there, this is a 9-volt battery, and it's only testing out at 7.71 volts. So this battery is really not useful anymore. If it was rechargeable, we could recharge it, but it isn't. Now I'll just show you when I reverse those prods and I get the polarity mixed up. You can see now, you see right there, there's a negative sign. Okay, right, and if I go back the other way, it won't be negative. There's no negative sign. So that's all. It still gives you the same reading. It's just giving you a positive or a negative number. So same idea. Here's a battery out of one of my tools. So, and it shows me positive and negative. I can touch that and see this is supposed to be a 6-volt battery. Yeah, 6-volt DC, and it's testing at 6.16. So basically it's fully charged and ready to go. Okay, so that's how you could test some batteries, those sorts of things. Now something else that you might want to check is continuity. So if we swing the dial all the way around down to this little symbol right here, I don't know, kind of looks like a speaker or sound waves or something. I don't know how you explain that, but they're all pretty standard. You'll find that on your tester. Switch it to that. Take your prods, just touch them together. Did you hear that? So there's an audible sound telling me that I'm making a full connection. There's no broken circuit here or anything like that. If I take a fuse, so this is like an automotive fuse, and I can see, can you see in there, this fuse is actually good. I can visibly see that, but sometimes in your car, you know, they're dirty or something, you can't really tell. You could pull it out and check it. This one's good. I'm getting the sound, I know that it's good. Okay, if that fuse was blown and I touched the two prods on there, that wouldn't make a sound. For instance, let's see, I've got a light bulb here. Now I want to know if this light bulb, maybe it's acting up, giving me some problems. I want to check if its continuity is okay or not. So what I can do is there'll be some prongs in there. Now this is obviously an automotive light bulb. Now I've got got my prods on there, I'm not getting any tone. So I know that the filament's gone or there's some kind of electrical problem inside of that bulb. Here's one that I actually know is good. Now it's not going to light up or anything like that, but I should get an audible sound once I make contact in there. And there's my sound. And I do know that this one is good anyways. So now where is this kind of pertinent maybe to something a DIYer might be doing? Maybe you've got an extension cord that you know, you've plugged it in. It's just sometimes you're getting juice out the other end, sometimes you're not. Maybe it's just not working at all. You can check to see if one of the wires inside of that cord is maybe compromised or crimped off or had a screw put through it. I'm using a piece of electrical wire, but it's the same idea. So I want to test each conductor. So here's the white conductor. This could be extension cord. I might have a male end here, female end down there. As long as I'm on the same conductor and it's not broken, I should get an audible noise. If I go to this one, which I actually took some side cutters and cut it intentionally, I don't know if you can see that, just for this test, the black, I should not get any noise. So I'm touching there, I'm getting nothing because that line has been compromised in there. So that's the sort of thing. The only thing with doing that is you have to be able, with the length of these lines, these cords, you need to be able to reach both ends of that conductor. So you know, which is easy on an extension cord or something, because you can easily bring both ends to where you are. I think that's really the main things that most people are, as DIYers around the house, are going to want to know. And the main thing, like I said, is checking electrical devices would probably be your main use. So and something else, just remember to always turn that off so it doesn't, because there is a battery in there for the display on the digital ones. So I think that's all I can really show you. You know, if you had a question about the multimeter or maybe one of the other functions, you could go and post that in our forum, and then one of us can get an answer off to you as soon as we can. And like always, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of social media stuff. If you want to help us a little bit in producing more of these videos and keeping our video quality up, you could also go right now and click on our Patreon link below and maybe help support us. Thanks a lot.